So, Chamath once said,
You'll have like a $300 or $400 bill. In some cases, you tip $500 or $1,000 and you close it and they're expecting $40. And so it's so great. It's just like little things like that mean a lot to people.
Chamath Palihapitiya is without a doubt one of the most successful investors of our time. Since 2011, his social capital fund has returned over 30% per year. As a result, he is being dubbed our generation's Warren Buffett, or the Warren Buffett of technology. Chamath defines himself as a Buffett disciple. But on the other hand, Chamath wants to take his investment to the next level and is establishing Berkshire Hathaway 2.0. In this video, I'll go through Chamath's unique strategy for executing our generation's Berkshire Hathaway, which he believes will provide a consistent 20 to 30% annual return. Welcome to Investing Wise Academy. This is Fred, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more content like this. And let's get right into it. Chamath is a personal favorite, and I've listened to many of his interviews online. Chamath explained his motivation for founding his own Berkshire Hathaway in a recent podcast with Capital Allocators. He feels that money equals power in our culture and that individuals with cash may force their viewpoint onto the world. In its most basic form, this can be observed when individuals contribute their money to causes they believe in. However, not everyone would donate to the exact cause because we all have different biases. Some people consider that specific topics or policies are more essential than others. Chamath has more than enough wealth thanks to his several successful investments that have yielded large returns, allowing him to expand rather than only focus on rapidly raising his capital. Now, he wants to be able to influence society with his own money to expedite his vision, and he intends to do it in the same way that Warren Buffett has done with Berkshire Hathaway.
I wanted to build Berkshire 2.0, and that was always my ambition. And the problem with wanting to build Berkshire 2.0 is many people don't respect capital allocation. They don't think it's a skill. And many people think it's not doing anything. And when Warren Buffett describes his job every day as reading and thinking, I think a lot of people think, what a checked out dilettante. How dare he read and think all day? That's not a job. And I just think it's so further from the truth. Because in many ways, what Buffett was able to do, and this is me imposing my own narrative now, looking backwards, but he was able to use capital to accelerate his worldview. And a lot of his worldview was around American exceptionalism and American GDP, and the belief in the American consumer and the American economy. And so whether that's Precision Cast Parts or BNSF or Geico or See's Candy, he's done incredible things to move the American economic engine forward. He was voting with his dollars around businesses and ideas that were really critical parts of the American infrastructure for American middle-class success. I would like to reimagine what that means for the next 50 years. So from 2020 to 2070, how would I answer my version of that? How can I use my capital, compound book value in a way that accelerates my version of what ideas are really critical, what American exceptionalism should mean, how I close the inequality gap, how I drive a renaissance in the American middle class? And that requires deep, profound thinking and controlling and owning very critical future resources that are poorly misunderstood today, finding the secrets hiding in plain sight every day, and then putting money against that.
Chamath should use his Berkshire wealth similarly to how Warren Buffett has done for the previous 50 years, and Chamath intends to do the same for the next 50. But intriguingly, Chamath is so forward-thinking with his money allocation and ready to risk investing it into something that might not even pay out. Chamath might retire at any time and receive money from his present investments. Instead, he spent his entire career embracing the concept of taking chances and working on something he genuinely believes in. His approach to creating Berkshire 2.0 is unique. Throughout it all, Chamath, like Buffett, continues to believe in the long-term value of investing in for-profit enterprises.
All of my money is going to get compounded in for-profit businesses where I can aggregate human capital, social capital, political capital, intellectual capital to solve problems. And that's going to drive book value.
This brings us to Chamath's great ambition for social capital to transform it into an economic engine that reliably compounds book value. He divides the market into private investments, public investments, and experimental bets. We'll go deeper into what Chamath meant by these portions now. Number 1. Private investments. Chamath's firm's initial branch is private investments, which include minority investments and buying a stake in private enterprises, as well as majority investments and outright purchases. Chamath claims he has done this effectively with a return of 40% every year for the past decade and believes he will be able to sustain it in the future. Companies that are monopolistic and have data center assets, which he believes will be a crucial resource in the future, are critical elements that have served them well. In addition, Chamath will continue to make 1 or 2 private investments each year that are first unclear to others. Chamath has dedicated his whole career to this field of private investing, and he has no intentions of slowing down. Number 2. Public investments. In the finance sector, what Chamath is doing in this branch is relatively fresh and unheard of. Chamath is a big supporter of SPACs, or Special Purpose Acquisition Companies. Chamath invested his own money to bring private enterprises public using social capital, as evidenced by the Virgin's Galactic, Open Door, and Clover Health cases. This will become increasingly common in the coming years. He intends to do so with biotech firms in the future. He's even considered developing a whole ETF in which the general public might invest. This is all because he believes in allowing regular investors to invest in typically private firms. Chamath thinks that this will benefit the firm since it will have more access to finance, and investors will also profit. Number 3. Experimental bets. Chamath's major motivation for starting this branch was to figure out how to optimize the ability to create social capital at a 20-30% annual return, and the way he's pursuing it is groundbreaking. Chamath sent out a November tweet saying, we can see from this tweet that Chamath intends to start with US shares before expanding to other markets such as global public equities, Bitcoin, and even trading cards and shoes. This may appear extremely dangerous since no one in the investment world has ever done anything like it. However, returning to what Chamath feels about Warren Buffett, he argues that speeding his world perspective with his cash also implies that adopting this worldview entails accumulating prejudices. This might mean anything from refusing to invest in the IPO to refusing to eat sushi. Investors, like everyone else, have biases, implying that some investors will perceive possibilities where others do not, and vice versa. Nevertheless, Chamath is confident that by adopting fresh ideas, he would be able to uncover assets that traditional asset managers will not. He claims he would rather have $500 billion managed by 500 individuals than a tiny group of 3. This investment philosophy is opposed to what Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have promoted during their time at Berkshire Hathaway. Chamath will employ a broad diversification strategy, as the individuals in charge of his money will invest in various firms, each with its own set of values. That concludes Chamath Palihapitiya's big plan to build Berkshire Hathaway 2.0. What are your thoughts on his strategy, his developing managers program in particular? Please like and subscribe if you love this video. I will see you in the future. Again, this is Fred of Investing Wise Academy. Thank you for watching.